Hertz has decided to weaponize AI to alienate its customers. Let's talk about that. Welcome to Dave is Not AI, the channel where we take a skeptical, no-nonsense look at artificial intelligence. I'm Dave, an AI expert with over 30 years of experience in the field. Here we dig into what's working, what's not, and what's just plain ridiculous when it comes to AI. No hype, no corporate spin, just honest, objective analysis. If you're ready to separate reality from the marketing machine, you're in the right place. Let's get into it. So you can check out the article in the description. I'll go ahead and put it here. And so the short story is that Hertz introduced AI-driven inspections, and they're claiming it's going to be used to streamline the vehicle return process and reduce disputes. But ultimately, this is something that could backfire on them greatly. And so what this is that when you rent a car from some Hertz locations, they're going to scan the car as you leave, and then they're going to scan the car as it comes back. And I guess there's some 3D rendering models, things like that. That's going to be leveraging AI, is going to find places on the car where there may have been damage. In other words, door dings, dinged wheels, scraped up hubcaps, I guess if you get too close to the curb, things like that, thing in the normal wear and tear of the car. And what Hertz is going to do is send you the bill. Not only send you the bill, but they're going to send you a bill for the processing fee of having to, go through you paying for the damage. And so this is going to be interesting. And so let's talk about the, good and bad aspects of this. And while this could be just another bonehead use of AI that's going to blow up in the face of the people who are trying to use it in stupid ways. So while Hertz claims that the AI systems provide consistency and accuracy in identifying vehicle damage, I think at the end of the day, this is going to raise some concerns about whether the system prioritizes profit over customer satisfaction. And lots of people are complaining about this now who've gotten bills for the damage. Obviously, if you rent a car, you're not necessarily paying attention to door dings and, people getting close to the car, damage that's caused, maybe something you didn't notice or maybe out of your control. So Hertz is going to start sending you bills for that. And so it'll be interesting to see a couple of things. Number one, if they can accurately profile a car that's been damaged, or is the AI system going to end up making mistakes? Perhaps something could brought back maybe dirt on the car, things like that, that is interpreted as body damage, where you get a, bill for, a dirty doorknob or something like that, or a dirty door handle. So, and I think customers may perceive of these stringent policies as exploiting them, ultimately driving them away from the brand. So if you're getting a bill for damages that occurred to your rental car, even if it's something that happened or not, that's going to be a problem, because ultimately we don't have possession of the car anymore. We can't go back out and check to see where the damage occurred. I assume they're probably going to send you images of it, however. And we don't know if it actually occurred when we controlled the car. Obviously Hertz is saying we scanned the car when you left, and we're scanning the car when you came back, and we see these dings and you're going to have to pay for them. But in many cases, that's going to be very hard on the customers, because they're going to feel unfairly treated. In other words, they didn't do the damage normally. Somebody else may have done it in a parking lot, something like that. And your need to pay for it is going to be something that they're going to view as probably unfair. And the big unfairness of it is they're going to charge you an administration fee on top of it. So, you do $200, $300 worth of damage, they're going to charge, I think, $200 or something like that for the administration fee, in just allowing you to pay the fee. Now, I think there's a dispute process that they're going to have. I'm sure that's going to take a lot of time, and probably most people who are, busy business people who do rent cars are not going to want to go through that process, and they're just going to go ahead and pay it. And I think that's what Hertz is hoping that they're going to do. So I think in doing that, Hertz is going to see an unintended consequence. They're going to see customers just leave the brand. And so if they're pulling this, And, whether it's fair or not, I think that remains to be seen. But people just won't use Hertz. They'll go to Avis or other, some of the other rental car companies out there, and maybe they'll start doing this as well, but they haven't as of yet. So this is going to be penny wise, pound foolish for Hertz. I think they have to ask the question. It's not that you can do it. I know you can scan cars going out of the rental lot and scan cars going back in the rental lot and notice damage, but we really have to ask the question, should we do it? And I think the reality is, this, I understand it can be done with AI. That's the good news, I think. The bad news is it shouldn't be done with AI. So the reported experiences of the renters who receive hefty charges, for, small amounts of damage expose a critical flaw in Hertz's implementation of this technology. And in this case, it's not improving the rental experience. The customer is not getting a better experience by, having their car scan going in and out of the lot, but instead they're going to risk alienating their customer base by prioritizing revenue generation over fairness. Now, I understand where the rental car companies are coming from. They see damage that occurs to the car, and the cars are obviously going to be reduced in value when this damage occurs. But I think taking a very critical look at how when the damage occurs and how it's occurred, and especially if it's just basically minor things, they're going to be nickeling and diming their customers so much they're just going to leave. So that's going to be the end result of this, and I suspect that we're probably going to hear in a few months and how they're pulling back on the program and not implementing it in the other rental locations. But right now it's ready to go, and we'll see how it goes for Hertz. I don't think it's going to go well. So by adopting a rigid standard for damage assessment, Hertz could unintentionally create a perception that they are more interested in maximizing fees than ensuring a positive customer experience. And I think that's going to be the case. Obviously, this has a profit incentive for them. In other words, they're trying to get more money out of each rental, and they're trying not to devalue their cars around minor damage that occurs. But I think it's going to lead to a backlash that affects not just revenue, but also the brand's overall reputation in a competitive market. And already they have not necessarily the best reputation for customer service. And I think this is going to make it worse. And they're going to see that they just can't do stuff that I'm sure they were probably thought themselves as very brilliant in leveraging AI as a weapon to get additional revenue. But like other people are finding right now, it's not the matter that you can do it, it's should you do it. And in this case, Hertz shouldn't do it. So even in the days of AI, I think consumers are going to increasingly value transparency and fairness, in service industries like rental cars. And I think Hertz's approach is going to hinder its ability to foster customer loyalty. I don't work with Hertz anymore. I used to be a very loyal Hertz customer, had a few bad experiences with their customer service, and end up renting from other car rental agencies. Now they all have their own, upsides and downsides, but it was just consistently not a good experience when I worked with Hertz. So the backlash from this could not only result in immediate revenue losses, but also long-term damage to Hertz's brand quality. I think this may be the straw that's going to break the camel's back of people who have been loyal Hertz customers for a long period of time. Many of them are going to have a bad experience through this, and it's going to leave them with a bad taste in the mouth, not the fact they're going to lose $500, $600 wherever you're going to charge them for the damage. And by the way, that may be something that you're not going to be able to expense. So, and I think most cases you're not. So the company you're working for is paying for the rental car usage and the rental car fee, but as far as the damage goes, they're going to insist that you pay it or your insurance company pays it. And obviously, most insurance companies are going to have a $500 deductible. It's not going to meet the deductible. So this is going to come out of your pocket. And I think that's going to be pretty painful as well. So what did analysts say? Well, they suggest that Hertz is stepping into a contentious area where efficiency must, not come at customer service excellence. If Hertz fails at, this strategy that they're doing, it may find itself grappling with a significant decline in rental bookings, due to a tarnished public image. And I can't agree more with that. So if you look at what everybody is saying in this, is this a good idea or not? They're not applauding Hertz for this. They view this as a dumb use of AI. I'm sure it's certainly going to work, by the way. As an AI expert, I worked with these types of systems, and you can spot, quality issues on a factory floor. And if you can do that, you can obviously spot damage to a vehicle that's coming in and out. But that's not the question. It's not that the technology won't accomplish this and solve this problem. It's the fact of the matter is it's going to have an outcome that I think is going to be negative for the customers, and ultimately going to be negative for Hertz, and negative for the investors, and negative for the employees. So this is one of those things where I'm sure someone thought it was a brilliant idea, and they're working with a technology company out of Israel to do it, which is fine, but it's not going to get them to the outcome they're looking for. They may get some short-term additional revenue based on the damage fees that are coming back, in from these renters, but long-term they're going to see a decline in their product. So don't forget to like and subscribe, and check out my other videos on this channel and also my other channel, Cloud Computing Insider. Also check out my InfoWorld Cloud Computing blog, my 100+ LinkedIn learning courses, and of course my generative AI architecture course out on Go Cloud Careers. And finally, my latest book, An Insider's Guide to Cloud Computing, where I cover AI topics and technology. So until next week, stay very, very safe. Later.